That leads on to my next question, which is about goal setting. You talk about setting goals 1 year, 5 year, 10 years. I mean, you mentioned that you've set yourself a 1,000-year goal, which is absolutely huge for someone. Someone can't even, a lot of people, I certainly can't comprehend setting a goal that's so huge of that magnitude. How do we go about setting goals that are congruent with our value systems? Do we go first for the values and then do we set the goals, or do we set the goals that match our values?
It's a good question. You have the capacity to alter your values. Just as your life is changing your values through life, you can do it consciously. A child between 0 and 10 will very commonly want to play. From 10 to 20, they may want to socialize. 20 to 30, they may want to find a relationship. 30 to 40, they may want stability in their family. 50 to 60, they may have a completely different set, or 40 to 50, a different set. So every decade, there's obviously different significant changes in values, and that's going on throughout our lives. So events in our life that it cause, in our perception, pain or pleasure or support and challenge, are tweaking our values constantly. But whatever is our values at any one time, and I recommend we get in touch with them every quarter, every few months, to re-update ourselves. Whatever those highest values are is where we tend to achieve. So we may have to adjust our values to match goals we have, or we may adjust our goals to match our values. But if they're congruent, we have fulfillment. If not, we have an internal dialogue that conflicts with ourselves, and we feel like we're having moral dilemmas, we feel like we're sabotaging, we feel like we're not staying focused, we're not disciplined. These are the languages. We start to live in imperative languages instead of indicative languages when we're incongruent. So what I do in one of my programs called the Breakthrough Experience, I help people identify what their values are by what their life demonstrates. Because your life is demonstrating your values at all times. So I look at how they fill their space and they spend their time, and a number of determinants that I go by to help me determine what is really important to these people. Then we make sure that the goals are matching that. Because so often people subordinate themselves to other people and try to set goals based on people they admire instead of actually their own values. And they end up self-defeating and beating themselves up, minimizing themselves, wondering what's wrong with them. When in fact, nothing's wrong with them. They're just setting goals that aren't matching to who they really are.
So that leads to another phrase and quote that you say, that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. So does that therefore mean in practice that we need to constantly ask ourselves the right questions in order to find what our true values are, and then set goals based on those values?
Yes. And the reason for the quality of your life being based on the quality of the questions, it's not just about the congruency of goals and values, that's one. But no matter what happens in our life, if we see things that challenge our values, that we think are crises, if we ask a question, so what's the benefit and where are we being supported, and balance it, we're poised, we're present, we're powerful, we're purposeful, and we're patient once we balance the equation. But if we only see one side, things that challenge us without the support, or support without the challenge, we're sidetracked by emotional baggage. So our values are determining that, but our questions are resorting us back into that congruency to make sure that we have a balance of support and challenge. Because human beings grow best and most powerfully when they have a perfect balance of support and challenge in their mind. If they see more support than challenge, they tend to be juvenile and dependent. They become, in a sense, entrepreneurs working for other people. And if they are more perceiving challenge than support, they tend to become more precocious and more independent, and they tend to be the entrepreneur, having people work for them. But if they have a perfect balance of support and challenge, they mix that narcissistic and altruistic, you might say, entrepreneur and entrepreneurial adventure. And that's where maximum growth occurs.